Not every steakhouse is worth your money and trust. Some serve tender, five-star quality meat, while others leave you feeling duped. Are you picking the right place for your steak, or just falling for fancy decor and glossy menus? This video ranks America's top steakhouse chains from worst to best, based on meat quality, service, and real dining experiences. Comment with the number 1 if you've eaten at these restaurants. 10. Fleming's Prime Steakhouse and Wine Bar. Fleming's isn't a spot you swing by on a whim when you're hungry. It's a place to savor. Slowly, elegantly, intentionally. For many food lovers, just hearing Fleming's Prime Steakhouse and Wine Bar conjures images of a luxurious dinner where every detail, from how the meat is cut to the wine paired with it, creates an unforgettable experience. Fleming's obsesses over pairing food with wine, not as an if-you-ask afterthought, but as a core service philosophy. Every steak on the menu comes with a wine suggestion, from bold reds to elevate a prime tomahawk to crisp whites to complement a seared sea base. They're not pushing wine sales, they're inviting you on a flavor journey. Even the sides, often treated as filler elsewhere, demand pause and appreciation. Fleming's baked potatoes, Brussels sprouts with bacon, or creamy burrata with Italian cured meats are crafted with the same care as the mains. Even their 3-course kids menu shows rare thoughtfulness for a high-end steakhouse. Service-wise, Fleming's is nearly unmatched in its class. Every server is trained to know the menu deeply, offering natural, unforced wine advice. They don't hover from a distance or intrude on your space. That finesse isn't scripted, it's rooted in their culture. Many customers say, "I came for the steak, but returned for how they made me feel respected." That's a class few can copy. If you're seeking a place for a special occasion or just want to feel you deserve the best, Fleming's is where to start. 9. The Palm. The Palm isn't for those chasing a quick meal. It's for people who know what they want and aren't afraid to pay for it. Since opening in New York in 1926, the Palm has stayed true to 2 core values: uncompromising quality and relentless service. From the first glance, you feel the difference. It's polished, yet carries a touch of classic American, where servers call you by name, and chefs know a single temperature misstep ruins a beefsteak. Every cut here is hand-selected from corn-fed cattle, dry-aged for at least 35 days. A costly technique that yields rare tenderness, aroma, and deep sweetness. That's why many diners say, one bite of the Palm's steak is signing a contract with happiness. Beyond beef, the Palm's menu is a refined symphony of melt-in-your-mouth lamb chops, fresh seafood, and premium dishes like lobster and Chilean sea bass, all presented like art. Each dish declares, "We don't follow the crowd, we do what's right." But what keeps customers loyal isn't just the food. It's the feeling of being treated like an honored guest, whether you're famous or not. The space is just upscale enough and just private enough for anniversaries, business meetings, or a treat-yourself night after a long week. That consistency, not chasing trends, not changing for the sake of novelty, makes the Palm legendary. In a world where everything's constantly redefined, the most valuable places stay true to themselves. The Palm is pricey and proud, but worth every cent. 8. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Ruth's Chris isn't just a restaurant, it's a statement. When you hear that signature sizzle from a 500 plate, you know this isn't a meal, it's a high-art steak performance. Starting as a small spot in New Orleans in 1965, Ruth's Chris grew into a global empire with over 150 locations, yet kept its soul. Every cut must be flawless, down to the marbling. What sets Ruth's Chris apart is how they treat meat like treasure. Only Midwestern USDA prime beef with perfect marbling and thickness makes the cut, then hits a grill at an insane 1,800 Celsius. The result? A crisp seared crust locking in sweet juices, served on a scorching plate, and finished with a pat of melting butter. Each step isn't for show, it's to conquer your senses. The sizzle, the seductive aroma of sizzling butter, and the rich sweetness lingering on your tongue. The ambiance at Ruth's Chris is part of the elite experience. Not overly ornate, but elegantly refined. It's ideal for anniversaries, business dinners, or a night just for you and someone special. It's less about formality and more about feeling, being served like royalty without stuffy rules. Service here defines attention to detail. Staff don't just know the menu, they know you, from how you like your steak cooked to which wine matches your mood that evening. Ruth's Chris isn't for every day, but for those who've experienced it, it's a place to return for moments worth remembering. Some things in life can't be bought with price. They require worthiness. Ruth's Chris is that place. 7. Cut by Wolfgang Puck. If you think steak is just a familiar dish, Cut will completely redefine it for you. This isn't your average steakhouse. It's where culinary art and architecture blend into a top-tier experience, crafted by the legendary chef Wolfgang Puck. The ambiance at Cut feels like a modern art gallery. Open kitchen, refined lighting, and minimalist yet upscale furniture. Everything is designed to let one thing shine. The meat. Cut's menu is a bold statement of quality obsession. Only USDA Prime, Australian Wagyu, and the pinnacle, A5 Japanese Wagyu, make the cut. This is where you can order a shareable Wagyu tomahawk or a refined porterhouse, grilled to perfection and paired with a vibrant chimichurri or a rich Bordelaise wine sauce, not to embellish but to honor the meat's natural flavor. Unlike many pricey restaurants that lean on flashiness, Cut strikes a balance. Modern enough for elegance, approachable enough to feel welcoming. Servers don't just wait tables, they guide like true sommeliers, deeply knowledgeable about each cut of meat, each wine, and how they harmonize. A standout is Cut's California-style farm-to-table ethos. Vegetables from Milliken Farms, baby carrots from Gindung Farms, and seasonal ingredients hand-picked with care. This makes every meal at Cut exclusive. No two visits are quite the same, as ingredients shift with time and region. Visit Cut on Christmas Eve or New Year's, and you'll see why it's a go-to for the elite. Multi-course feasts with curated wines in a dazzling yet exploratory setting turn this place into the perfect stage for unforgettable moments. Cut isn't cheap, and it doesn't try to please everyone. But for those who see steak as a living experience, this is a temple of refinement and distinction. Each bite is a fusion of craft, passion, and near-perfect precision. 6. Saltgrass Steakhouse. Amid a sea of steakhouses growing industrialized, Saltgrass feels like a refreshing, rustic breeze, charming and approachable. This isn't a place for show, it's for savoring authentic Texas flavors, bold, warm, and down-to-earth. From your first step, the vibe recalls a southern roadside diner. Dark wood, cozy lighting, and the faint aroma of charcoal smoke. It creates a comforting, honest feel, like a family night out. Saltgrass doesn't name-drop Wagyu or A5, but they're strict about selecting hand-cut Angus beef. Steaks are grilled just right, keeping their juicy core, and paired with crispy toasted bread and honey butter for a delightful salty-sweet rich contrast. These simple dishes, when made from scratch the Texas way, become surprisingly honest and captivating. Beyond steak, Saltgrass offers southern staples: golden fried shrimp, spicy glazed ribs, buttermilk fried chicken, and creamy mashed potatoes. Each dish is hearty, unpretentious, and hits the spot for those craving a full meal. Though a chain, Saltgrass keeps a local flair. This explains why the same brand feels different across states. Each chef infuses their own soul into the dishes. That said, not every visit is flawless. Some locations make diners wait too long or serve food at the wrong temperature. But these imperfections are what makes Saltgrass human. A place that doesn't hide flaws but strives to nail the basics. Grill a steak right, serve with a smile, and keep that Texas vibe with every return. With fair prices, cozy vibes, and generous portions, Saltgrass doesn't aim for luxury. But if you want an honest, satisfying steak meal, this is a spot you'll return to, again and again. 5. Longhorn Steakhouse. Once seen as a strong contender in mid-tier steakhouses, Longhorn Steakhouse has spread across the U.S. with hundreds of locations. But behind its impressive scale, a sad truth has left many diners questioning its quality and consistency. There's no denying Longhorn's initial appeal: spacious cowboy-themed interiors and a varied menu from ribeye to lobster and soups to cocktails. But the reality is, its wide reach has cost them their core: consistency. Many customers report meals ruined from the first bite. Steaks too raw or overcooked, dry, or even off-smelling. A filet mignon ordered rare arrives nearly raw. Grilled chicken comes out like wood, or worse, Ribs arrive with a burnt bitter glaze instead of smoky allure. The issues don't stop at food. Service complaints are common. Servers vanishing when problems arise or half-hour waits for reserved tables because no one's cleared them. Some diners visit for birthdays but leave disappointed by subpar food, unresponsive staff, and absent managers. Sadly, these aren't isolated cases. While big chains have minor hiccups, Longhorn's issues repeat across locations, pointing to systemic flaws in training, quality control, and customer care. Of course, Longhorn still has loyal fans. With reasonable prices, pleasant vibes, and large portions, it's a decent pick for families wanting a simple dinner. But if you're seeking a true steak, tender, juicy, served with care, think twice. Not every location meets the mark, and your experience may hinge more on luck than actual quality. 4. Sizzler. Once a pride of middle-class America in the 80s and 90s, Sizzler was synonymous with affordable upscale family dinners, abundant salad buffets, and budget-friendly steaks. But as the world changed and American taste grew more refined, Sizzler seemed stuck in the past. Many locations feel like time capsules: dim yellow lights, worn furniture, and a lifeless vibe instead of the cozy warmth of yesteryear. The salad buffet, once their secret weapon, is now criticized as bland and uninspired. Wilted greens, watery soups, and lukewarm hot dishes. Most concerning is hygiene and food safety, a non-negotiable in today's food industry. Sizzler faced E. coli scandals that hospitalized customers. While they've made efforts to improve, those past shadows still make diners wary. The steak, their flagship, can't save the brand either. Customers complain of tough, dry cuts, poorly grilled, lacking flavor. Some report steaks so chewy they couldn't cut them with a sharp knife or with an off taste that's hard to stomach. It's tough to believe this comes from a steak-focused restaurant. Worse, customer service has lost its old charm. Hasty hiring and poor training leave staff unprepared for basic tasks. Diners face long waits, unresolved complaints, or repeated requests to get the right order. These experiences strip Sizzler of its weekend family outing appeal. For those who grew up with Sizzler, nostalgia lingers. But the truth is, nostalgia can't keep customers in a competitive, discerning era. Unless Sizzler overhauls its core, from ingredient quality to service philosophy, this once iconic name will fade into a dim memory for diners. 3. Haas's Family Steak and Sea. The name sounds so inviting. Haas's Family Steak and Sea. It feels like a place for Saturday night family dinners with tender steaks and kids laughing freely. But reality hits differently. Many customers leave feeling deceived by the name itself. Haas's has one edge. Few steakhouses maintain a diverse menu spanning beef, salmon, shrimp, sandwiches, and handmade meatballs. But when the actual experience begins, expectations crumble fast. The steak, the heart of the restaurant, is its biggest flaw. One customer said, "The steak was so tough it felt like chewing cardboard." Another noted, "It had a weird smell and bitter aftertaste, like it was burnt and masked with sauce." These aren't rare complaints, they flood local food forms. Even sides like mashed potatoes or salads don't redeem the meal. Some report microwaved dishes served cold or showing signs of sitting out too long. "I barely remember what I ate," one diner said, summing up the forgettable food. Ironically, Haas's brands itself with family, but it's far from family-friendly. Cramped, noisy spaces lack room for big groups. Some locations don't even have kid zones, turning meals into stress instead of joy. Pricing is another sore point. With mediocre quality and small portions, costs rival better mid-tier restaurants, leaving diners feeling ripped off. The kids' menu is cheap, a rare bright spot, but it can't save the overall experience. It's a shame, because Haas's Family Steak and Sea promised so much. But without a root-level overhaul, ingredients, cooking, service, and ambiance, family will remain a marketing ploy, not the feeling you get walking in. 2. Logan's Roadhouse. Logan's Roadhouse once won over Americans with its gritty southern vibe. Steaks on rustic wooden tables, peanut shells scattered on the floor, and a lively atmosphere. But behind that nostalgic charm is a chain struggling to regain its footing among steakhouses, advancing in quality and service. It sounds enticing. hand-cut steaks, fresh rolls, ribs, and burgers. But when the steak arrives, diners often sigh. Overcooked, tough, slathered in cloyingly sweet sauce, served with mushy, reheated potatoes. One customer wrote, "I ordered medium rare and got well done. When I mentioned it, the server said the kitchen was busy. So you're stuck eating a 20-plus-cent steak that feels like a cheap diner meal." It's not just the food that disappoints. Service is a major letdown. Many report waiting over 30 minutes despite reservations. Some are ignored after raising food issues. "It felt like I was bothering them just wanting a decent dinner," one diner said after their server vanished for most of the meal. Worse, staff attitudes leave a bad taste. Reviews describe impatient, curt servers, some even arguing with customers over complaints. These moments turn dining into an ordeal. The atmosphere is loud, messy, poorly lit, and some locations look visibly worn. What once gave Roadhouse charm now feels like a rushed, forgettable eatery few want to revisit. In an era where diners value real quality over fake vibes, Logan's is falling behind. Without a swift overhaul, from kitchen to table, food quality to staff training, Logan's dusty, friendly Roadhouse image will fade, replaced by a reputation as a mediocre steakhouse not worth the stop. 1. Outback Steakhouse. Outback Steakhouse, with its faux Australian flair and rugged charm, once drew curious Americans in. But many leave feeling mildly deceived. The name, decor, and menu scream Aussie, but there's no real Australian soul beyond dish names and wall art. The problem isn't the theme, it's the core of any steakhouse, food quality and service, that falls short. The steak, meant to be the star, is often the main complaint. Too salty, overcooked, unevenly grilled, or lacking fresh beef flavor. One diner bitterly shared, "I ordered a ribeye and got something like a fried frozen meal. It doesn't stop there." Slow, unprofessional service adds frustration. One customer complained about a dish, and their server disappeared until the meal ended. Others waited nearly 40 minutes despite reservations. Reviews highlight indifferent, inattentive staff, leaving diners baffled by the cold treatment when they expected warmth. Worse, the prices aren't as friendly as the quality suggests. Outback's costs rival higher-end chains, but portions are smaller than the glossy menu photos promise. The feeling of being sold a bill of goods is hard to shake, especially when the steak looks nothing like its picture. The irony? Even the founders never set foot in Australia. Outback is just a marketing shell, enticing but hollow. As more U.S. steakhouses focus on real ingredients, real cooking, and real experiences, Outback stays stuck with a borrowed identity. If you want a steak worth your money, think twice. With Outback, you might get a dash of Aussie style and a whole lot of disappointment. Not every steakhouse deserves your hard-earned cash. Some deliver refined experiences, impeccable service, and unforgettable meals. Others hide behind flashy exteriors with declining quality and troubling indifference. This video lays bare the truth, helping you avoid wasting money and pick a place truly worth every penny. If you want to spend smarter, hit like and subscribe for more honest, practical, and valuable insights like this.